Hello, and welcome back to Painting Up the Monster Manual here on Dragonborn Industries, specifically with Warrior Prince 3D. Say hi, who are you?
Hello everyone, I am Richard from Warrior Prince 3D. I am a wonderful, lovely little 3D printing business, doing anything from wee little 10 mils to massive 1/6 scale or even a couple of quarter scale statues. We can handle anything from any tabletop, most cosplay bits and pieces, or even if you're just wanting to test out a pattern that you would like to get printed. We are your one-stop shop for everything 3D printing.
And that is Richard and Warrior Prince 3D. Tripping over my own words there. And obviously, we're Dragonborn Industries, and we're trying to do a mix of streaming. We do some dice making. We do a little bit of 3D printing, but I'm a lot more selective with mine because I don't want to have to do the workload that Richard is doing. Is basically the end result of that one there. Today we are on episode 3, and we are continuing our quest on painting up the monster manual. This is the challenge that we have set. Well, I've set myself, and Richard's decided to torture himself and come along with, where we are going to spend only 1 hour per mini. So no matter the size of the model, if we get to the Tarrasque and it's still, I'm going to paint the big fucker when it turns up, because that is basically what I'm...
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's the challenge I've set myself, where I think you might be doing a smaller one. But today's the Deva, and the Deva is part of the Angels collection. So we've done the Aarakocra, we've done the... Aboleth, that was last week, and yeah, now we are up to here. I'm going to be painting up a WizKids one, which I got from a local game store called Happy Piranha, and it is a very, very cool mini, and I've pre-primed this with a grey all over, and then I've hit it with a white from the top. And what I'm hoping here is to show you guys that, again, you don't need to be an expert painter at all. You can, within an hour, get a mini to tabletop ready. However, Richard is a much more phenomenal painter than I am, and especially in a quick set of time.
Wouldn't go that far.
Well, I mean, if you saw the Aboleth from last week, yours was insane. Like, I really effed up the contrast paints. I was like just slopping them all over the place, but yours was perfect.
That's all I did. I literally just went, let's hope this works.
Yeah, but it did, and I think it got a lot of love online on Instagram, and I know that the people that I game with were like, his Aboleth was insane. Like, I got messages saying with screenshots saying they loved it, and I was like, that's what we're hoping to do. So yeah, we're trying to show that you don't need to spend 5 days painting a miniature. You can do one in an hour, and it doesn't matter. We're just putting things down on the table that are tabletop ready. So we're going to teach you a bit about the Deva today. Richard's going to fight one, or not, depending on how he goes. So in a minute, I'm going to get him to get up D&D Beyond. What are you painting up? Because I'm doing a WizKids one. Which one are you doing?
So I am painting up Artisan Guild's Soul the Holiest, the model is called.
So good.
This is a beautiful model. This is one of their earlier epic boss models. And in contrast to last week, this is one I sell. It comes in a variety of different sort of poses. You've got ones, this is just the 2-wing one. You've got 4, and I believe there's 6 wings as well. Different hands, you've got empty hands, swords, pole swords, shields, bows. You've got multiple different heads as well. You can have a bald head, hooded head, long head, and you've also got a head that comes with the hood, so you could have like a strange, glow coming out of the hood instead. This will be on offer at the end of the stream as well, this model, the 2 varieties of it, and until the next stream goes, they will be an offer price of the 2-wing variant with all the weapons will be £25, and the 4 and 6-wing variant will be £30.
That's awesome.
Along with all the weapons and the head variants.
That's very, very cool. So I know that mini because when I first started getting into 3D printing, I really looked into that. I actually looked into it as one of the main protagonists or antagonists of my campaign, and that I run with my gaming group. And yeah, minus one other one that I found, I was like, actually, this is a better fit for my BBG. Yeah, I love that mini. It's so freaking cool. So yeah, head on over to Richard's store to pick up one of those. I'm not doing an offer on these because I don't sell them. These are the WizKids miniatures, and I need to put the OBS in a different place because I can't see my camera on Discord. There we go. Let's do that one. There we go. So we should have... there it is. I'm not doing an offer on those because I don't sell them. However, Richard, could you go to D&D Beyond for me, please?
I am currently there at the moment. I'm just about to create a random character.
Level 3, please. And
Level
depending on what
3.
comes up, depends on what I do with this. Because I've only got, like I was reading through the Deva and the Angel. And we'll talk about the Angel as we begin. And we'll do a little bit about it. Hello, Dibs. How are we doing? Beardy and Pasty. I like that. I'm Beardy, right? No, I'm Pasty. Yeah, so we're going to talk a bit about the Deva, and we'll talk about like angels in general, and then we'll see what goes on. Obviously, standard equipment, if you could please as well, Richard. And then I'll grab some dice, and you can grab some dice, and we'll start throwing them around. I'll set a timer for the painting. This is sort of how the show's going to go from now on. It's basically, I'm going to throw monsters at Richard to see their capabilities, to see how quick they take out a beginner party, or how quick they take out a beginner individual character. Most campaigns start at level 3. And then we'll discuss the actual monster from the monster manual. So I want to bring up some music. Let's go here. Then, how you doing?
Good. I'm gonna keep it so that it does all the random spells as well. I'm not gonna choose my spells.
Oh, nice. So have you ended up with a magic class again? Have you?
Yeah. So I've got that's awful spells. I've got a Wood Elf Sorcerer level 3.
Wood Elf Sorcerer. That's good. It's good.
Okay. I am gonna have to change spells because they've given me no combat spells.
Well, who says you need combat spells? Maybe you need something good. Yeah, no, you probably need combat spells. So while you do that one, we'll talk about angels. So angels are beings created directly from deities, from gods. And the Deva in particular is a messenger kind of being. So whereas you've got things like the Planetar, which will be next week, and the Solar, they're more like combat-based ones. And although the Deva can fight, and it is a CR10 brutal monster to fight against at low levels, they are, I would say they're more story-driven, and they are more of your kind of like messengers from deities. They can transform themselves into other humanoids and animals, and they can hide in plain sight for years, just passing on the message of their deity. Many angels are very, very lawful with what they believe, and the very few that fall because they've either been tricked into it by the demons or devils from the abyss or the nine hells, or because they believe in something so much and they have to stick to their word that sometimes that can corrupt them. And many of them that do become corrupt put themselves into isolation in a way of shame, or they can end up in like the 9 layers of hell as a foot soldier, or as a almost vengeful, trying to lash back out at the god that they were trying to serve that's now punished them and banished them. But the Deva is a CR10. It is an armor class 17 with 136 hit points as base. Richard, how many hit points does your sorcerer at level 3 have?
20.
20. We can see how this one's going to go if it's a fight.
This is going to go another one.
So, in a moment, so you're a Wood Elf Sorcerer, yes?
Yeah, that's it. Trevor.
Trevor, the Wood Elf Sorcerer. Right, here we go. So I'm going to put a stopwatch on of 1 hour. And this is going to be our paint time. I don't think the combat's going to last that long, but we'll talk about the combat and we'll talk about things as we go along. Richard, I'm going to hit the start button. Roll initiative.
Okie dokie. Ooh, and that's 24 for initiative.
You, my friend, will be going first. However, let's set the scene for you as we begin painting up these Devas. Wherever you are in the world that you come from, you have mastered the ways of sorcery to the point where you're quite adept, and maybe you've been out on a quest, or maybe you've been helping some creatures, maybe you've come across from the Fey realm or the Shadow realm. However, you meet an animal, let's say, with you being a wood elf, that leads you on a path, and something is supernatural about it, something is strange, and you begin to follow it. And eventually, you realise it's not there must be something sentient about this creature, because it leads you towards an area where you start to feel a darkness, a presence, and mist begins to surround you. The mist gets thicker and thicker, but yet you follow on, trailing this animal. It's no longer a hunt. It's no longer you trying to track this thing. It's letting you follow it. And you follow it through the mists, and you keep walking, and eventually the mist becomes so thick that it's almost impossible to follow. But you just seem to know where you're going. And as the mists start to separate, you find yourself in a new place, on the edge of a new forest that you don't recognize. And in front of you, this deer somewhat glows. And you hear this presence in your mind. I do not have long here, but I believe that my deity has something for you to do. However, I must test you and pass on a message. And you watch as this deer begins to glow a radiant golden colour and transform. You watch as it stands up on these hind legs as they become more humanoid, and you watch as the back arches up and these big wings start to unfurl from it as it goes from this body of a deer into that of a large humanoid. Maybe 6.
After watching Bambi transform and slowly having a brown trousers moment, I prepare myself for something extraordinary.
And you watch as these wings unfold and this golden light surrounds this being, and you watch as it transforms into a silver-skinned, large angel, a being of pure divinity that you know is a shard of something else. It is beautiful to behold, yet powerful at the same time, yet something is wrong. Even in this presence, you can feel a darkness around you. And it kind of looks down at you with these glowing blue eyes. Do you know where you are?
I fear I am in hell.
Not quite. But some would say that it is not far off. At least, it's hell for its captor.
What do you want of me, messenger?
This land is a prison for the being known as Strahd von Zarovich. However, Strahd is a being of pure evil that my god, my master, my deity, the Morning Lord, cannot abide. We know that he is trying to break free, and yet we cannot intervene. Through the mists are too thick. I may only lead you here. And should you be strong enough, hopefully, you will find others here that can help you on this quest to defeat, once and for all, the vampire known as Strahd. You look around, and you just see this open valley, this glade, and this mist just settles across the ground like a fog. But around the outside is where you'd expect to see far into the distance. You just see this thick fog that you can't see past. But the glade is massive, and you see like a broken castle on one side, like a cathedral. You see on this rising hill this monstrous monastery of epic proportion. Show me how strong you are. And it seems to wait.
I grip my quarterstaff, shaking, and you wish me to strike you?
I wish to hope that I was right, that you, of both the Feywild and the material plane, with your arcane abilities, may be enough for my lord, the Morning Lord, to be a champion. Strike me.
Come on, Trevor. And I'll try and hit him with my staff.
Okay, make an attack roll, please. And he doesn't seem to try and duck or anything. He seems to let you come for him.
Okay.
While you do that, I'm applying some Death World Forest to the trousers that are underneath the tabard of this being. Because as you can see, as it flips up, hopefully in the bottom left corner, there's almost like a green trouser to these beings.
I rolled a 9 to hit.
A 9 is not going to hit. And it's not that you were going to miss. It's not that you're going to whiff sideways or anything like that. He just holds up his hand, and it's almost this show of power where his finger just stops the staff. You will have to do better than that. And you watch as the other hand, so it's his like left hand that stops the staff, then the right hand just whips downwards in like almost like a sword strike, and you watch as this golden light emanates from the hand as a mace begins to form out of this pure definitive light. They are going to, let's go with she's going to go straight up with a mace attack on you. So, they have 2 attacks. So, the first things first with the Devas, when they come to their attacks, if you're going to do the multi-attack, you can do it with the mace, or you can do an unarmed strike, and they have a few other things. Also, if they don't have that particular weapon, because they do have Holy Weapon on anything they touch, they get 4d8 radiant damage on top of any weapon damage. So, let's begin with how much they have to hit. They have a +8 to hit. I rolled a 4.
Bye-bye, Trevor.
That is in total.
Oh, I don't actually have a reasonable armor class, 17.
17. So the 12 is going to miss. And you watch as it brings out this mace, and then it swings it in an upwards motion to try and strike you like as an uppercut almost. How do you avoid this attack?
As the uppercut's coming, I basically push my quarterstaff down into the floor and sort of push myself back.
You do like the anime skid across the floor, and it's like, speed, yes. Zarevich is fast. But can you be faster? Your go.
Okie dokie. Doesn't he get 2 hits on me?
Oh, yeah, he does, actually. Because you were so quick, I will make this one a disadvantage. It's a 7 and a 3. So that's a 3 + 8. It's not going to hit. He goes to swipe as you kind of push back, but you're too quick for him. It's your go.
Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to unleash a Scorching Ray at him.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so that is 13.
A 13 is not going to hit.
A 20.
A 20 will hit. Armor class of 17.
It is 3. And a 9. Oh, God's sakes.
That one misses, but the 20 hits. Do I need to make a saving throw, or is it just an attack roll?
No, it's just an attack roll. So 2d6. I do 7 points of fire damage.
7 points of fire damage. So, not resistant to any of that one there. So the David does have some resistances, but they are radiant, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons. They also have some condition immunities, but we'll get to that if they crop up. If not, we'll talk about it afterwards. Next up, do you want to do anything else? Do you want to move? Do you want to do any bonus actions?
Is there anything around me that I could basically dodge, duck, dive, dip, and dodge behind?
Yeah, so you're at the edge of this glade, and like the forest that you've walked through has become another forest, but you know that you can go in and out of some of the trees if you so wanted to, being a wood elf.
As I say, I want to use my natural nature abilities to sort of used to the forest and stuff to be able to try and utilize the trees to stop him hitting me.
Okay.
Because I know if he hits me, I may be toast.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So you are going to make me a. Do you want to use this as a stealth check, or do you want to do this as?
No, I know I won't be able to stealth away from him per se. That is not where my strengths lie. I'd basically just be able to want to use the trees to my advantage when being able to dodge attacks or any ranged attacks that might come in for me.
Okay, cool. Absolutely fine. So we may impose some circumstance bonuses to the attacks and stuff from there on in. Dibs, being born a deity, do they actually have any weakness to any kind of attack or weapon? They actually don't. Believe it or not, in D&D, there are so little things that actually have a vulnerability to something, which is kind of interesting, because if we take systems like, I think Pathfinder has a lot, where they have more vulnerabilities and stuff, but unfortunately, even undead creatures and stuff don't have that, like, radiant
However, that doesn't stop you as the DM to impose such things.
That is very, very true. Very, very true. You could have certain story conditions, or you could have your own reskinned monsters that absolutely do.
That's one of the things I do. Certain creatures I do add weaknesses to simply because I put strengths on others as well.
Yes.
To keep it nice and balanced, and so that you can have a bit more variety to bits and pieces.
Absolutely.
And people can then strive for certain skills and bits and bobs, or particular weapons, or certain arcane abilities or arcane nature that they need to use to be able to defeat this nasty person that wishes to do them harm.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that that's one of the best parts about storytelling, especially when you go on this big character arc and you can give them something that then makes it easier to kill a boss that doesn't normally have a vulnerability or something. Very much am a fan of that. However, you dart into the trees and you watch as this Deva, this messenger of the gods, the Morning Lord they've declared or decreed, watches, doesn't move. The wings flap and it raises ever so slightly off the ground. They do have a flying speed of 90 feet for those of you at home, but it's not going to fly towards you. What you see is it almost closes its eyes and you feel this whoosh of power coming from it, this magic that you feel connect to you, and it at will does detect good and evil. And although that doesn't necessarily bring you up, you just seem to know what this is. Hiding from Strahd is almost impossible in this land. You need to find ways of either masking yourself from him, not being able to be seen by him is almost impossible, just like it is from me. And they will... Let's have a look. They're going to launch their mace forwards into the tree line where they think you are. You watch as it almost becomes like a ball of lightning, this radiant lightning that it's just, and it just launches this glowing light towards you with disadvantage because you put yourself in the trees and it can't fully see you. So let's have a look. That is a 16 though. Oh no, disadvantage.
Oh.
Disadvantage. That is a 6 plus 8 for a 14.
Misses.
Misses. Nice, that's awesome. Good, you are using the cover wisely. However, I am coming. And it starts just rushing towards the tree line to try and find you and get into melee range with you. It's going to roll a perception check. Their stats are pretty good. So, it rolls a 14 and it has a plus 5 to its wisdom, so its perception checks, and it gets its proficiency bonus is a plus 9. So that is going to be a 23. If you just roll me a stealth check, please.
Oh, it's not enough. 17.
You watch as it launches the mace into the tree line. It smashes against the tree, maybe 10-15 foot away from you, and in a burst of speed, it flies into the tree line and just hovers. It wheels around to look at where the mace struck, and then looks up from it towards you. There you are. And then it will remain... Well, it's got 90 foot, and I don't think you quite have that. So it will then, seeing you, can continue to move up into melee range. Just... You feel the air, and it's churning the mist around you as it's just floating there in striking distance.
Okay. Does he have any other weapons on him?
He does not. You literally see he is naked except for this very thin pair of trousers, some sandals, and this tabard down his front. You watched him conjure the mace out of pure golden divine light. And you watched him throw it.
He's flying up in the air, isn't he, you said?
Yeah, but he's only just hovering off the ground, so he is still...
Is there any big branches any near his face?
I would say that, yeah, maybe like 2 or 3 foot above the Deva itself. There are all these like little branches, but there are bigger branches to this glade, like these thick pine trees that surround the valley of Barovia.
The biggest one I think I can grip and basically yank into his face, I'm going to use Mage Hand.
Yeah.
So as I'm hiding behind a tree, I'm going to look up and basically cast Mage Hand, and I'm trying to yank one of these massive branches down into his face to try and thwart him to be able to cast and get an advantage on a spell at him.
Okay, so give me a... I would say it's not necessarily a survival check or anything like that, but why don't you give me an Arcana check with... I suppose it's an Arcana check, and if you're not proficient in that, add your proficiency bonus to it.
Okay. 6.
6. You go to pull this this set of branches down. Such feeble tricks will not work on Strahd. Show me your power. Show me the Morning Lord is right about you. And he reaches down. Is that the end of your go?
That is it, and I'll continue to try and hide. My sorcery points won't help me.
Okay. He reaches down, and the hand outstretches, and just a finger touches your forehead, and radiant light bursts from it. You will have to be stronger to defeat Strahd. You need help. You need friends. And you feel somewhat stronger and better as it casts Healing Touch on you.
Okay.
That's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 points of health back to you.
Do I get that as temporary hit points? If not, I'm not injured at all yet.
Sorry, yeah, I forgot that I didn't strike you. Either way, it goes to heal you and is like, staying alive is important here. For those who die do not remain dead for long. Strahd makes them his minions. And stays there.
Okay. Right. I'm going to reach out then, come out from behind the tree, shout valiantly, and put my hands together and basically build the flame up through my feet, up into my torso, and out into my arms as I cast Burning Hands at level 2.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Can I have a Dex saving throw, please?
Dex saving throw. So, one of the things about the Devas is they are magic resistant, which means they have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Dex save, you say?
Yes, pleasey.
They are quite dexterous. The first one is a 5 plus 4. The second is a 2 plus 4.
Ooh.
So that is going to hit.
Unless he rolls a 13 or gets pluses for a 13.
Oh, so hang on, let's have a look.
Hit.
So saving throws, wisdom and charisma is his main ones. They're a plus 9. So dex, he only gets his dex modifier, which is plus 4. The first one was a 6. Was it? Did I say, or did I say 9? 6.
Yeah, you said 6.
6, yeah. So that's 6 plus 4 is a 10.
Beautiful. Okay. 4d6 damage.
Roll it up.
Oh my god. He takes a whole 8 points of damage from
Hey.
1, 1, 2, and a 4.
8 points is not bad. Good. You are past some of my magic resistance. Strahd too has these resistances. You need to use your magic, use your power, and maybe the Morning Lord can bless you with more. Are you doing anything else with your turn?
I am basically ducking back behind the tree.
Okay, so you try and duck back.
I'm trying to get out of his path of strikes and out of his range, as it were.
Good. You are learning, and you are learning fast. It then goes to... Yeah. It almost like lowers itself down onto the ground, and you feel... Well, you hear the earth, kind of like the grass, kind of like in this. It's almost frosty in a way, and it like kind of breaks, and it's a bit brittle, and you can hear it in like the twigs that snap on the ground. And Hang on, Dibs. Can Richard's character use any animals in the area to help him? That's on him. That's on his character sheet, and I know that like he's only just got this character, but we'll see.
I've already checked that. I can't.
So it hits the ground, and then as you're round the corner, give me a perception check.
One thing I will do, I'll use my Mask of the Wild. I can attempt to hide even when I'm only lightly obscured.
Yep. So stealth check and a perception check, please.
Perception is 17. Stealth check is a beautiful 20.
Awesome. So you think you're
dirty 20, but you know.
You think you're well hidden, and you see this golden light, the same kind of light that you saw when it first transformed from this deer into this magical angel. So just for you who are watching the painting, before I carry on, what I'm doing now is I've applied some gold to the braces around and to the mace, and now I'm just applying some more white to the highest edges of any muscle striation, any face, and the top of the wings, so that we can just pick out those highlights, those extra areas. And that is pretty much all I'm going to do for the skin, and then I might add a slight hint of silver, because they have this silvery skin that kind of glistens, this iridescence to them. But you see this gold light burst, and as it dims away, you then hear the padding of what must be 4 feet. And being a wood elf, I think you would know it is something of 4 feet, and this angel must have changed back into something. And then you hear a hoo of a wolf. A perception check is made. That is a nat 20. However, when they polymorph into a creature, they have to use most of the base stats of that creature. So a Deva magically polymorphs itself into a humanoid or a beast that it has a challenge rating equal to or less than its own, or back into its true form. It reverts to its true form if it dies. Any equipment it is wearing or carrying is absorbed or borne by the new form, the Deva's choice. In the new form, the Deva retains its game statistics and ability to speak, but its AC, movement mode, strength, dexterity, special senses are replaced by those of the new form, and it gains statistics and capabilities except class features, legendary actions, and lair actions that the new form has. So it is a proper polymorph. It has become a direwolf, and you watch as it just like pads around the tree, and it has these like same glowing blue eyes. And then you hear this voice emanate from the wolf. Strahd can also change his form. He can control the beasts and the animals of this land as if they were him himself. And the head turns towards you, and this beast starts to snarl. And it charges you. It runs up, and it's going to make a bite attack against you. That is a 4. Plus the stats of a direwolf, which I need to bring up, because I didn't pre-think about. Well, I didn't know we were going to Barovia you until you rolled who you were. So, let's have a look at a direwolf. Let's see what its bite attack can do. We need to go to page 321 in the monster manual, and let's have a look. There's a strength bite. There's a +5 that is a 9 to hit.
Ooh. That is luckily a miss.
Yeah, and it only gets the 1 attack, but it like bites you. You like step back. The beasts are strong, bigger, faster. Your go.
That is never good. Right, okay. No, I've got nothing that will give me anything against animals. Right, okay. Wow. How big are the trees here?
The trees, 20, 30 foot, some of them. They are really quite big pines, thick, like woodland pines that seem like they've been here for decades.
Okay, so how tall did you say they were?
20, 30 feet at least.
Okay, I'm going to cast Spider Climb on myself, and I'm going to head up a tree.
Nice. Is that a action to cast or a bonus action?
That is an action, but it's a touch spell.
Cool. Absolutely fine. So you cast it on yourself. You start making your way up the tree. I'm assuming the whole 30 foot.
I will dash up.
Cool.
If I can.
Yeah. However, it does get an attack of opportunity on you as a reaction as you leave. As you step out of its range, it goes to bite and it snarls. That is going to be a 3. I am rolling dog shit for this Deva.
You really are, aren't you?
3 plus 5. Hey, it's serving you quite well. That is a 3.
It's only foregoing the inevitable, but you know.
Well, we'll see. 3 plus 5 is only going to be an 8. So that is an 8 to hit as you go away.
Nope, that is 17 to the armor class.
Happy days. Anything else from your turn as you go up the tree?
No, I'm moving myself to a sort of more secure place where I can then fire some spells down upon him.
Nice. Well, as you do this, you watch.
Don't let your enemy choose the terrain.
Exactly. And it sort of like sits almost like a good dog of sorts. And then on its go, you watch as it starts to... No, it wouldn't actually, because it wants to teach you a lesson here. You watch as it begins to try and like paw its way at the base of the tree. And you hear this voice again emanate out from... this wolf. Model check, please, guys. So, Dibs, I have so far only done some highlighting on the skin, which the primer has done most of the job. And like I said, I zenith primed this. I did it all in grey, then hit it with white from the top. I'm going to do some white highlighting on the muscles and on the face. I'm going to give it some silver hair, and I'm going to paint that tabard. And that's all I'm doing. You know, we've got 32 minutes left. Richard's lasted longer than I thought he would. Thanks to some nasty dice rolls. That is how far we are at this point. I will also point out that the base it came on, it came with a clear base, but it also had the standard WizKids terrain bit, but I ripped that bit off because I didn't like it. And then I ripped the mini off the actual flight stand, and I've just glued the flight stand straight to the... where's my microphone? Straight to the base, so we have just a completely clear one, so it looks like it's flying. Yeah, Beardy's model is way cooler. So the WizKids ones are cool, but the Sol that Richard is doing is so good. And the quality difference is going to be massive. Because, I mean, a £4 mini that comes with an Iranese compared to Richard's expertly printed 3D one is, yeah, his model is so good. But this wolf is starting to look like it's going to climb the tree. And you hear this voice... Good. Strahd will use these beasts, and you must use the land around you. Although it is his, you must use it to your advantage like now. And he tries to climb, making an acrobatics check up the tree. That is an 8 plus its dex modifier, which is on page 321. Let's have a quick look, because I think it may not be making it. Yeah. It is going nowhere. And you watch, it's just like, you know in horror movies when like wolves are like scratching at the bottom of the trees and they're like snarling to get at you. And yeah, it's just like howling and snarling and yeah, it's your go.
As it's doing that, I cast web on it.
Yes. So what save do I need to make?
I conjure a massive sticky webbing at a point I choose within range. Each creature that starts to turn on the webs or that enters them during its turn must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is restrained.
So dexterity saving throw. So
yeah,
I need to work...
until it breaks free. It can break free of them.
Nice. The Deva magic polymorphs into a human. I need to read the change shape bit. The new form of the Deva retains its game statistics and ability to speak. So game stats. Yep, and its ability to speak. And special senses are replaced by those of the new form. So magic resistance.
So it's not a spell that's being cast on it for the magic resistance to apply because the webbings are an actual effect.
There you go.
The webbings that I would have thought appear on the ground. It's basically saving against sticky stuff, not an actual magic.
Well, it is a magical effect, though, still, isn't it? It's still like having like a bonfire, I would say. So, I'm going to give it the wolf stats because it doesn't say anything about carrying over the magical effects. But let's have a look. So, I may as well keep 3, 2, 1 open there, shouldn't I? Let's have a quick gander at that one. So it's a dex save, yes?
Yes, please.
For 4 plus 2.
You really
that's
are
a
rolling
6.
pants, aren't you?
Yeah, not a problem. It adds to the dramatic drawn outness of you getting slaughtered by an angel. So you watch. How's it look when you cast this spell?
I do my best Spider-Man impression as I'm with my spider climb. I have my legs stuck to the tree, push myself off the tree, and literally shoot out from my web slingers. Both hands at the bottom of the tree.
Awesome. And do they look like spider webs when they hit the ground, or is it?
Yeah, I'll anchor them between sort of two points in the ground and sort of make it all appear out and under it and stuff.
Good. And this is like the wolf, like is stuck to the ground. Its paws can't get up, and like one of them is free, but it's like trying to pull itself free. And you hear, "Good. Using spells like this can give you an advantage when Strahd has an opening. Using what you know, your spells to aid others in their attacks, is a good thing to do." And is that the end of your go?
Yes, because I think. Yeah, that's me out of spells. So I'm preparing to basically drop with my daggers now, and as it's webbed and held, I'm going to try and drop on top of it and basically stab.
Nice. So, first thing it's going to do is it is going to try and pull free. So it's going to... it's a dex save, yes? Oh, no, it's a strength save. What do I need to do to get it out of the web?
I think it's just an action, actually, to be honest.
Or does it say it's just an action to break free?
No, sorry. You can use this action to make a strength check against my spell save DC to be no longer restrained.
Okay, so I think what it's going to do is...
That's the wolf. It's the wolf strength, though, isn't it?
It is. However, you watch as it uses its action to then reform, as it like starts to like try and break out magically. The wings unfurl, and you watch as it changes shape. But unlike the deer before, where it stood up, the web is keeping like its other hand stuck to the ground. So right now, it looks like it's playing a game of Angelic Twister, and it reforms. But that's its action to polymorph back into the angel, as you see it trying to pull itself free. I don't believe it has any bonus actions. But what it does do is, as it reforms, it holds out its hand, and this mace just reforms in its hand. Your go.
As the mace forms,
yeah.
Does it form inside its hand? I want to try and mage hand the mace out of its hand, because mage hand's a cantrip. I'm hoping, obviously, as it's still stuck with the webs and it's still restrained, I might. You never know. So I'm gonna try and mage hand the mace out of its hand as it's forming.
Yeah.
So
okay.
as it forms and he goes to grip it, I want to try and cast mage hand and take it from his hand.
Okay. So what's your main stat for being a sorcerer? Is it charisma?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so I think we're going to do a charisma roll-off here, because this is a magical effect of you casting it, but it doesn't really get a save against Mage Hand, because that's not really what it does. But it's almost like this is obviously like a conjured weapon of sorts, and you are trying to conjure your own hand to pull it away. So I don't need to change out the dice. The dice gods giveth, and the dice gods taketh away. And I think that low rolls can add to story. And yeah, I'm very happy with low rolls sometimes. So,
and indeed,
you are gonna give me a charisma check with your proficiency bonus.
Okay, I will roll it as one of them. Oh, 23.
23. So, here it is. I will make a roll right here. As an 8 plus charisma of 5 plus its proficiency, which is 4. You win. So,
Okay.
as it forms this golden, radiant mace, the mage hand goes out, and it just something about it that you just snatch it from its hand.
I want to hit it with it.
Cool. So it looks up at you. Make the attack roll.
Okay. Am I just making a strength attack roll, or no? No, because it's using the.
I will let you use your charisma modifier for this, because this is you don't get your proficiency bonus because it's an improvised weapon for you, but you are a spellcaster. You are using magic to try and strike back, and I will charisma modifier is your attack bonus, and we will see. It's restrained. You get advantage.
Even better. That's a natural.
Nat 20.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like you to roll the weapon damage, which is going to be 1d6. However, it is a holy weapon. You get 4d8 on top of this. So roll that all up. Or, something I do with my players is I allow them to max the damage and then roll again. Which would you rather do? Double dice or max and roll?
I'll double dice.
Double the dice. So you get 1d6 plus 4d8 plus your spellcasting modifier.
Okay, so doubled up plus spellcasting modifiers, 48 damage.
48 points of damage. And do you drop out of the tree as you're doing this, or is it like?
I would try and do it in a heroic fashion. As the mage hand is going down with a hammer, I will try and jump out the tree, grab it as it comes down to add extra oomph to it.
Awesome, that's so good. So you come down with this impressive strike, and it looks up, and you just see this smile approach on its face, creep up onto its face, and it's a gentle smile of understanding and of. It's just impressed. And good, you are the right one. You come down, and the mace just smashes into where its head would be, and the mace just dissipates into nothing, this golden light, and your web disappears from underneath you. You land superhero pose, one knee down, one hand down, and the other hand where the mace should be is now nothing. And the Deva stands up and smiles. The Morning Lord was right about you. And he was right to send me to pass on the message about Strahd. You are strong, and you are wise. You will need help, and you will find it here. Seek out the Vistani and Madame Ava. That is where your journey begins here in Barovia. It will not be an easy time, but any time you require it, just call on the Morning Lord, and he will grant you some of his power. And he touches you. This is his message. You gain a level in Cleric.
Wait.
And as that power channels into you, the Deva disappears. And you are left standing at the top of a glade of a hill that rolls down into what looks like the most bleak and soulless of lands. Welcome to Barovia.
Oh no.
Yeah. And there you go. We're going to come out of initiative there, and that's going to be it for your encounter.
Beautiful.
I'm glad you had fun. I had fun. I, like I said, had no clue we would go into Barovia until you rolled a sorcerer.
As you do.
Because if you went with certain combat classes, I was going to go different places and stuff, but then the idea for Barovia came to me earlier today, and I was like, well, that can only work if you get a few things.
That's it.
And so I hope that showed off a bit of what the Deva can do. And I hope you had fun engaging with one.
Certainly did indeed.
So, in terms of painting, I'm still only just applying the white, and I'm going all over the sandals because I'm going to add the details in afterwards of those little brown strands and stuff.
How long have we got left?
You have a grand total of 19 minutes, 40 seconds.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I've I forget how much detail is on this model. so I am just trying to do sort of simple bits and pieces with it.
I am nearly there. So, I'm going to take some of this contrast Pilar Glacier, and I'm going to use that as my eyes for these like glowing eyes that it has. So, have you ever had angels and stuff show up in campaigns of yours before?
My world, basically, it's a complete sort of custom one that I've built. The angels, the celestials, are the race that came before.
Oh, nice.
So basically, they're the characters that are in the campaigns at the moment are only just starting to find out about the civilization of celestials, because there are true celestials, and then there are some of the sub-variants that appear in the sub-races. But yeah, they're just starting to find out. They've the one I've just started up again recently with the 11th levels. They've just basically found out about one of the ancient celestial cities.
Oh, nice.
That was basically leveled by a large meteorite, basically.
Wow.
That formed the mountains that split the half of the continent.
That's awesome.
So that is where they're going to be heading off to next and exploring, because there are some of the celestials left. Because again, I've modified them slightly to what they are and what happened to them.
Nice. That's very, very cool. In the chat, Dragonsoul says that was awesome. Well done, Rich, from Dibs. Dibs, Ian, it seems like your Deva was a bit of a trickster, like the guy from Oblivion. Where's that gone? Oblivion, Shivering Isles. Yeah, I've forgotten his name too. Yeah, kind of. So Devas, because they're these messengers, they're not overly combative, although they can be very combative, and they can make great allies for the party, or they can make great challenges for them to overcome, or they can make great monsters if they've fallen. And I think that
they also don't conform to the societal sort of version of things. They are very cut and dry on what they do and what they're ordered from their deity.
Yeah, exactly. So whereas the Morning Lord could be looking for somebody of the right magic and strength in this point, the Deva only sees that as test them to make sure they're strong enough before the full message gets passed on. Or, part of this is the message. And they sort of see things, like Richard says, in their own sort of black and white ways. And it's very, very cool. And they can make for great, just great NPCs, really. And I very much like them. My campaign setting, which is my own homebrew world, which is called Agorath, where my guys play, there again was a celestial war. And this war was brought about because of the All-Father, who's called Aegis, had his Titans, his children, and one of them was the Mother of War, and she's called Dormamir, and she was his eldest and very kind of like Thor with is it Hera, and she's like this warmonger who helps him fight against what is called the Shadow Wars, where the Shadow Plane, as he was building this material plane on Agorath, tried to come in and infest it and tried to make it more Shadow Plane, and they fought off the shadows, and in doing so had to create more Titans. And when the Shadowfell was pushed back, there was a moment where Aegis was weakened and Dormamir had to sort of take over, and with that she became enthralled in not just pushing back the Shadowfell, but defeating it once and for all, but also succumbed to the forces of the Shadowfell and its darkness and its creeping kind of things that are there. And I don't want to give too much away because my players will see this, but
so that's the thing you got to watch out for, because some of my players might be watching. So,
but what happened in the end is something transpires, and the characters, well, sorry, not the characters, the Dormamir, this Mother of War, feels like she should be in control. She did most of the fighting as the Mother of War, and basically strikes back to try and take the throne of the deity power from Aegis the All-Father. And thanks to some other outside influences and some other things that are going on, she manages to draw power from all the planes of existence and cause what's called the convergence, which is all of the planes seeping into one on the material plane, but it locks it off from everything else in astral space. And that's sort of like where they are. But the actual main bad guy is a fallen angel of sorts that's been really beefed up from the monster manual and really kind of it's not pretty. It's like but they are doing things on quest to find ways to learn about the law, but also they don't realize they're doing things that are going to make it easier to fight her in the end, because they can go and fight her now, but it's just not going to be easy. So I like angels, and I think they can make great bad guys.
As I say, the couple of the angels I've got are bad guys, but not in the traditional sense.
Yeah. But if we take things like Avernus, that's obviously talks about the first layer of the Nine Hells, and its master there, which is a fallen angel. I think it's Zariel. I can't quite remember her name.
Yeah,
she was
something like that.
Yeah, she was an angel who fell and was corrupted by Asmodeus, who is one of my favourite devils, if not my favourite.
As I say, one of the awesome.
Yeah, I adore Asmodeus. I think everything about him.
Just started introducing some of the demons into my campaigns because they've been very dormant.
Oh, really?
But through the fault of one of the players, two of the players actually, one of them pulling a card from the deck of many things.
No.
And one of them going into a pact with the devil. They've released something rather nasty.
Whoosh! I love.
They did have the chance to not do so, but it didn't go well.
I love devils. I think like one of the main things about them is they're not just powerful; they love deals, and they love that kind of warping somebody into being something they're not. That's sort of their whole bag. But then they have this whole tremendous backstory where they believe that, like, Asmodeus believes that he is like on the right path to destroying demonkind once and for all, and that's sort of part of the reason he fell and part of the reason that he is a devil, because he's so adamant on, I think it's called the Blood War, of destroying demons, and demons are just hell-bent on destroying everything, that it's sort of like this, he's fighting this war that like the angels and the good powers can't. And yeah, it's just this messed up thing, but he also really is into tricking people and really into like making deals and like harvesting souls. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, falling angels is quite a nice thing to put in there. Dibs, sounds awesome. Is there room at the inn? There certainly is. If you head to my starting city, which was it was called Moat, and aptly so because it had a large river that surrounds it, and there was an inn there that my party started at in the standard tavern meet called the Stony Arch Pub. We'll see you there.
You're saying about souls and bits and pieces. I did a new thing with necromancy in mine.
Yeah.
So basically, there is necromancy is actually its own branch almost. They've done different basically research. I say research, but discovered a different type of magic. So there is soul magic.
Oh, cool.
So basically, necromancy now harnesses the power from a soul or from the essence of the physical body.
That's
so
really, really cool.
All sorts of bits and pieces that can be done with the magic and stuff like that. But it works on sort of because I've had it do multiple things, because there's two sides to it, to how it can be used and what it can be used for. And one of the deities I had, the original sort of deific entities, that was basically the Gaia. She gave up herself to protect the world and to imprison something using her soul.
We have very similar campaign settings. The word Gaia is so important.
Oh, yes.
Literally one of my... When Aegis succumbed to a deathly blow from Dormamir, the seed of Gaia was birthed into the planet, which created this silvery effervescent light that surrounds the planet or the material plane to protect it from the powers of the convergence and other things coming in to destroy it. And that is now seen as the only deity of the world, although it has no actual physical communication with people. So, yeah,
the way I've done the deities in mind, there was a big war they got all involved into, because it's annoying. So the big bad in mine is a thing called Eberron. that then obviously D&D came out with this thing of the Eberron campaigns, and I don't even know what it is.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was awesome. Really bloody annoying.
Eberron's very cool.
Eberron is an entity that was basically pulled through to this realm by mages looking for a more powerful source of magic. And it was a parasitic entity that now taken over, and it couldn't be stopped. The deities got involved, and obviously back then they were powerful, but not what they are now. Mainly because now the deities that remained, all they did was they basically took over the other plots of land almost.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Gods have multiple names. People think there's 8 gods, but there's actually 2 gods, for instance, that basically answered the call and have condensed the followers and are now multiple times more powerful because they have the old brother's followers.
Yeah. So in terms of painting, how are you getting on?
Me, I'm just adding some bits and touches and stuff, trying to get everything covered as much as I can.
Nice. So I am nearly there as well. I'm just adding some shining silver from the Army Painter. This is a really nice metallic, but I have really, really, really watered it down so that it's almost a shade. And I'm putting that over the hair and over some of the things like the pectoral muscles so that we have a little bit of iridescence to that skin.
How long have we got?
You have got 7 minutes. Reckon you'll be done?
No.
I think I will be. Like I said, the primer has done all of the heavy lifting here for me. This is quite literally.
I had the lighter primer, and I went with a blue-grey base coat on the flesh, and then just dry brushed a light grey, and then an off-white for the higher places.
Nice. That's a very good way of doing white. To layer it up like that, and especially dry brush. I think I tried that with a load of stormtroopers when I was doing some Legion, was to spray them an off-white, and then start layering them up until I found this technique of doing like a darker colour all over, then spraying it like a heavy xenophil from the top, and it just like, I love that technique now. It's probably one of my favourite things for painting white. But I am going to re-stick this to its base because I want to be able to do some details, and I want to be able to put it in my mini holder rather than my fingers. So let's grab my crazy glue. So how do you think you're going to fare with the Planetar next week?
That should be pretty fun.
I love Planetars. I'm looking forward to doing that colour skin as well.
Again, I want to try and obviously get a model that I have the ability to sell and can show off through the shop, so that I can do get all the bits and pieces for it, which would be quite nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, for those of you who don't know, Richard sells 3D printed models, and whereas I'm trying to paint up WizKid minis, Richard is going in and doing as many of his own as he possibly can that he sells, which is awesome. And there are some WizKids ones that just aren't available with this Monster Manual challenge that we're doing. So I am going to be using some of Richard's as well in time for any of those that I can't get from WizKids.
Yeah, I need to sort all those out.
It's all right. We've got at least a week until the Planetar's over, and then once the Planetar's over, that's when I need your help, as the Solar will be the one.
Solar.
Right, hopefully that will stay in there. So I've gone a bit too heavy on the silver, so I'm just going to water down some more white. I'm just going to add that back to the pectorals, especially like the larger areas of muscle striation and stuff, just to try and bring some of that white back. However, guys, don't put the same colours into one area of your palette. When you mix green and white, it doesn't go well over white. Whoops. So let's try this again. Something I do when I make a mistake and I catch it easy is just like to rinse my brush with quite a bit of water and then just apply that to the mini just to thin down what I've put on. I don't know if that will help anybody out there, but it was a technique that helped me. So, sorry guys, had to do some chores. What did I miss? Richard's models are top tier. Yes, they are. We'll check out your dice for my daughter and her fella soon, mate. Oh, no worries. The website is www.dragonbornindustries.com. We've got a few bits of terrain on there at the moment. Some dice. We've got some like potions and stuff. There is more. There is a stock drop coming soon, but I'm just like trying to mass produce a load of dice so that I can do them all at once rather than like in drips and drabs. Because I find that when I do them one at a time, I put it on and it instantly sells, and then I have to wait ages for a stock drop. So I'm going to do it as a stock drop in the next couple of weeks, I hope. But that's awesome. Yeah, do please check out the dice. I adore dice making. It's one of my favourite pastimes.
I adore dice, which is why, you know, I bought some because they're awesome.
Oh, thank you very much.
So,
well, there are more coming.
Vouch for the wonderful quality.
Well, I've started working on some not quite as big as the chonks. So obviously you've got one of the chonks, and for those of you who don't know, I only give away the big chonks. Like, you can only get them by winning them. They are pretty much exclusive, or by being a certain number of purchases. So, you know, like at 100 purchases, I gave away a chonk, and I'll do it again at certain numbers, but I don't like to give those out. Yeah, and Richard got one of them, which is awesome. But I am doing what's called a chonk set. So it's slightly smaller than the chonk, but bigger than my average set. And they are coming out really nicely at the moment. Do you theme the dice or just make cool dice? I do theme them. So I do certain art styles. Petrie is probably one of my favourite styles, and that's what Richard's got with his ones. I'm a big fan of sci-fi games, so I've got a few sci-fi sets like that I call like neon nebulas, and ones that have got like galaxies inside them. But yeah, apart from that, it's a case of trying to...
yeah, I do want the neon nebulas.
I really like those. That and the gelatinous cube ones, which is a green Petrie that I'm very proud of as well. That's probably one of my favourite ones to have this like monster-themed dice. But if you've got any suggestions...
Have you started doing custom ones yet at all? Or?
I have. So basically, if you have an idea for a custom dice or you want something, do message me through the website. There should be a contact me page. And we can go from there, really, because it depends on what you're after as to what the costs are, really. Because whereas Richard was like, hey, I want a set for my Fire Ganassi, and I was like, how about this? And he was like, yes. Want. Other people can sometimes be like, hey, I want this. And I'm like, I physically can't do that. But here is a dice maker who can. And I will send you off in somebody else's direction. Or, like with a recent one, I did a set of geode dice for a customer. And when we put them online, somebody else instantly messaged me and was like, hey, can I get a set of those? And was like, yeah, sure. Let's do that. And that was really awesome that they, you know, generated another sale off and another custom order. And I really like custom orders because it gives me time to like work on new art styles, on new things. So let's have a look at what the comment was there. They play Pokemon Magic, something called One Piece, and something else I can't remember. Yep, so that's kind of like the standard anime fan kind of thing, which is fine because I really like those things as well. I don't necessarily always advertise anything like Star Wars or Pokemon or anything like that, because obviously that's not my intellectual property. However, if you have ideas and there is something in particular you want like that, then yeah, send me a message via the website. That will come through to me as an email, and I can discuss what options there are, and I can look around at either what's called insertations, where we put something in the dice to show off something, or we do a style that's in those kind of colours, all things like that. So whereas Richard is very open on the 3D printing thing and I'm not, the dice one is where I am very much like, talk to me, let's see what we can do for you, because I love making dice. I'm done. 9 seconds, Richard.
9 seconds. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna finish.
Awesome.
I would say that it's ready to go on a table.
Good. That's what we want.
I could put that on the table as it is. There's colour everywhere on the model except for the base.
It's good. That's good. It's actually kind of why I cheated a little bit and like ripped it off the other basing that the WizKids ones come on and then re-glued it back onto its flight stand. So let's have a look at your miniature first, I guess, then. Look at that! That's so cool. What colour's that skin?
So the skin I based in blue grey from Vallejo, then did a first dry brush of sky grey, and then a sort of a highlight dry brush of off-white.
That's flipping awesome.
Did the hair white and then just went over with a contrast Bad Moon yellow. The wings are a skeleton, or was it? No, sorry. The Nazdrag yellow was the cloth. Skeleton Horde was the wings. I was right. What I was going to do with the wings is then dry brush a lighter colour and add, little details. Classic rare Retributor gold for all the gold pieces, and then I was going to do a bit of Agrex Earthshade and dry brush a little bit of silver if I had time, but obviously the gold still looks good as it is. Snakebite leather for the sandals, the rope around the belt, and the hilt of the mace. We've got a chainmail silver for the mace itself, and gold, and obviously I was going to add shades and bits and pieces to that.
That's so cool. Like, you've done so much.
I would say table ready.
Absolutely table ready. Like, you could put that on the table and everyone go, what the fuck is that? And that's what we want from that. Like, oh man, that's so cool. Well, I think you've shit all over mine, so I'll show you what I've done.
I have more bits and pieces to sort of paint, so...
So I obviously have the WizKids one, and I ripped it off its original base and then reattached it to one without it, so I didn't have to paint the base, and it looked like it had a clear flight stand. So I'm going to bring that one up there. So I've used a dual primer. So I've used grey from the bottom and white from the top to give it the shadows that we want. Retributor gold, because it is the best gold for doing gold as a base layer, and then I've gone in with a sandy brown on the tabard there. That could do with a few layers and a few extra bits to it, and a little bit of a tidy up. But apart from that, there's a tiny bit of silver on those pectorals and across the collarbones, and again the hair has almost a shading of silver. And then I've used a contrast blue in the eyes to give it that blue glow. And again, 1 hour, table ready miniature that is going to be absolutely fine for you to throw down to your players. That is 1 hour, one Deva. Table ready, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, table ready is, I think because me and Richard come from an area where if we've got the time, we will spend more time on a miniature to throw down, because I love the reaction from players when you put something down and they're like, dude.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because the paint job can really make it. And I think if you just put down a piece of grey plastic, although that's fine for some people, they don't need that. I think it adds for me the immersion and the storytelling that really matters to things like TTRPGs. So I really like painting minis, and sometimes we just don't have the time. And some people are new to the hobby and, don't know as much about colours and stuff. And I think that's absolutely fine. You have to start somewhere. And although I will probably go in and touch this up, I'll take some pictures for Instagram before that happens, so you can see where we got to in an hour. And obviously, like, Richard just absolutely killed it with that in an hour. That was so good. And I think people in chat are right. It's, yeah, like that, a dry brush of Griffin Gold on the wingtips would make it pop. Yeah, exactly that. You could really, like, come in underneath and add that gold glow in there. And I probably would if I had a bit longer to do it. I might do that afterwards and take some pictures. But yeah, man, Richard,
I'll do that. I'll take some pictures now, and then I might even finish it.
Yeah, I'm going to pretty much do the same. But that is it. That is our 1 hour painting challenge for the Deva done. And next week we are going to be going for the next one, which is the Planetar, which is this one down here in the bottom left. So this is these are weapons of the gods. These are angels that are designed to fight for their deity. They're armor class 19. They're a CR 16 monster. Crazy resistances, crazy immunities, just like the Deva. They've got innate spell casting. They've got several different attacks. They've got the healing touches. They get 5d8 radiant. But we'll go more of that next week, as it's time for us to sign off. Yeah, got a roll, Dragon Skull. That's fine. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Dibs, awesome for you to be so interactive in chat. I'd love that. Awesome to hear suggestions of things on the characters as well, especially when Richard has to roll a random character and then see how it goes. But for several rounds and a win for level 3.
Yeah, it's all right.
I only wanted you to get to half health on it. to beat it. Like that was the condition. Like it wants to see how powerful you are.
I think the crit helped me out quite a lot.
Oh, the crit really helped you out because you probably weren't going to make it.
No.
But it would have pulled you back to the material plane. Either way, that's all.
But yes, anyone watching this stream, either now or after it loads up to YouTube, from now until the next stream goes live, if you want to get your hands on one of these miniatures, it is £25 including postage, or £30 for the multiple winged version, including postage to obviously the UK. Each one will come with multiple heads and weapons as available.
And that mini is so good. So yeah, please go check out Rich's store. If you're on YouTube, I'll put a link to the store in the description below. Hopefully this video will go up tonight, so the 7th or the 8th.
If you put a link to the Instagram, and they can message me through there, because that way I can do the offer price then. Because otherwise through Etsy it's much more.
Yeah, so if not, go to his Instagram, which is...
At Warrior Prince 3D.
Perfect, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. As always, I'm Ian the Dragonborn Bard. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for the Planetar. Oh, we'll see you next week as well, Richard. Don't you worry.
Yes, see you next Thursday.
Cheers, guys!